Welcome to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here today with Kristen Cantrell. She is coming to us from Arizona. Welcome, Kristen.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
So excited to have you and just dive into everything that you're doing. I know we spoke earlier and I just don't know how you do it. So you're going to have to give us some tips. So we're going to roll and we're going to pan over all your wonderful images. Kristen Cantrell is the founder of the Hello Culture and chapter leader of Hello Culture Gilbert, a purpose-driven community created to empower women to build meaningful connections, collaborate authentically, and grow businesses rooted in impact. She is also the founder of the Moms in Real Estate Facebook community, a nationwide network of more than 40,000 women, and the host of the Moms in Real Estate podcast, where she spotlights real estate stories of growth, grit, motherhood, and entrepreneurship from women across the real estate industry. As a real broker, community builder, Kristen is known for helping top producing female realtors create connection driven communities that expand influence, foster collaboration over competition, and generate sustainable business growth, all while staying aligned with purpose and value. At the heart of everything she builds is a belief that business grows best through genuine relationships. Outside of work, Kristen is a devoted mom and wife who values health and wellness, mountain adventures, and a great glass of wine shared with friends and meaningful conversation. Welcome, Kristen. So excited to have you on the show and go a little deeper. So, I always like to start with the same question. I want to know, did you know where you are today, that when you started out, like in whether you were young or in college, that you would be where you are today? Give us a little journey. Where was Kristen born and raised, and what was life like, and how did you get here?
The answer is no. I would have never thought this. And you actually said something on my podcast. I forget exactly how you said it, but it was like accidentally on purpose. Like that's like your whole, like if you were to sum it up, like that was so me. Like everything that's happened has just happened and I've rolled with it. And like it just so happens today that it seems like I had this like master plan, but I absolutely did not. So yeah, I'm from Gilbert, Arizona, and I went to Gilbert High. I still live here. I did leave and move to Orange County in Las Vegas for a while, but I love, love, love Arizona. And I did, exactly what I was supposed to. I feel like I was told go to college. I got my degree in business communications, and right after that, I feel like I had this rude awakening where I like went and tried to find a job and it was like I kept hitting these walls and I'm like what the heck, like I've worked since I was 15 and I got the degree and I have some experience, like why am I not getting these jobs, and so I just remember like I decided like I am going to figure out what I want to do in my 20s, and anything that doesn't work I'm going to let go and like just really spend this time figuring out like what I want, this like what do I want to do. So through a lot of different experiences, I ended up in the real estate industry when I was 27, and I was hired on to do recruiting and retention for an independent brokerage. And I didn't know exactly what that was going to look like, but what I found was that I was able to create community and attract agents just through the aspect of like people wanted to be a part of what we were putting on and what we were doing. And so I learned for years and years the needs of agents, and just really help them from more of like the entrepreneurial side of the business. So I would do workshops, I do game show CE classes, I would do and all kinds of events, you name it, I've done it. And I helped grow that brokerage to the number one independent brokerage in the nation. And that was kind of like what catapulted me into the industry.
Wow, that's incredible. I did not know that. So, do you, so, you- and recruiting is very hard. You're hired. Come to our company. I hate recruiting. So I just want to say, for people who don't know, recruiting is very difficult. There's a lot of competition, a lot of real estate companies, and it's not easy. And of course, we all work individually. We all love where we are, but then you have to like explain that to the other people who are looking at all the different companies. So it's not easy. So I commend you for that. So do you practice, have you been practicing real estate as an agent as well?
No, so along my journey, right before college, my dad said, it was May, I graduated high school, and he goes, before you start college in August, I want you to get your real estate license. And I said, okay. So I did it. Again, I was just like, I'll do whatever he says, you know? So I remember I
Same.
got my real estate license when I was 18. It was so over my head. I remember like just sitting in there and being like, I have no clue what they're talking about. And however, like I was coming out of high school, so I knew how to take tests. And if you've taken the real estate test, you know you just have to memorize everything. So I got my real estate license. I helped one older couple buy a new build. And through that experience, I was like, I do not like this at all. And so it's funny when I got back into real estate and I got hired on for the recruiting and retention role. I really fell in love with the brokerage side of things and the growth side of things. And so I got my license again. But at that time, I had built relationships with real estate agents all over the United States. I know their journeys, I know their struggles, and I loved the space where I was able to help them. And so I sat with, do I go into sales? And the answer was no. I wanted to stay in my lane and refer everything out. And so I have done that ever since. And so what's cool is my background has helped me to build a nationwide organization. Like right now, I run an organization. One of my businesses is through Real Broker, where I have 330 agents. And just again, really being like a connection, like a conduit for them into the brokerage, but also being a business partner and helping them with, all the things that they need in their business. So I do not. I sold one home when I was 18, so I'm kind of like the weirdo in real estate.
So okay, so you're part of a real estate company where you're still recruiting and probably helping them with their businesses and grow their business and coaching them. Is that correct?
Yeah, so I am at a company where the company pays me when I bring people into the company. And so my role, like I don't attract a lot of new agents. If I do, I always refer them out to all the team leaders I work with. But really the people that like to come and work with me, the real estate agents that like to work with me are top performing female real estate agents that are looking for network expansion. And maybe they're starting a coaching program or they're starting a podcast or they're trying to they're they don't want to like just be doing the rat race of where's my next transaction. They're really looking to expand and diversify. And so they want to work with me because of my expertise in that area. So that's how I attract real estate agents today. It's looked so different over the last decade. But yeah, so that's basically how that leg of my business works now.
I love it. So what are five things that and it could be, every agent has their own strength and weakness. So can you name five things or three things that if an agent comes to you, one of them you mentioned is a podcast, if they want to start a podcast, are there other things that you coach them on that might work for them specifically?
Yeah. Okay. So a couple things. One of my favorite things is just talking about network expansion. So the simplest question, and I will tell you, so many experienced agents can't answer this question is any business owner has to be able to answer this. How am I meeting new people on a regular basis? And once I meet them, how am I staying relevant to them? We figure that out, we identify it, and we put process and procedure around it. And that's your one prospecting pillar, right? And so depending on your business, we got to identify a handful of those. And so I love that conversation because traditionally a lot of people will tell agents like you've got a cold call, door knock, open houses, all great things. However, we're going into 2026 right now, and there's so many different ways that you can go and meet people and do it in a way that's authentic to you. And for me, podcasting was always one of those ways. It was just a door opener for me to meet amazing people that I wanted to be in business with and I wanted to be in relationship with. And so that was one of the ways that I was like, how am I meeting new people? I have a platform to put these women on. And how am I staying relevant? I have content every week from my podcast that's able to be on social media and through email marketing. Another thing that people like to come to me for is definitely the marketing side of things. I run content days every single month locally. I have women doing it in 30 different cities now where we're really focused on like how are we getting our name out there and how are we doing that through content creation. And so a lot of people struggle with that, even myself today. I have it because it's a need of my own in my business. And so just really bringing people along on the journey and helping them and making sure that we execute on something that's so important. Like as a entrepreneur, we have to get our name out there constantly. So the content creation aspect. And then Another big one is there's team leaders, and a lot of real estate agents don't look at themselves as recruiters. Even though they're recruiting buyers and sellers, they have this like, oh my gosh, agents, I don't want to recruit agents. Well, I have spent a decade building relationships with agents everywhere. So a lot of times people reach out to me. I just had one before this call on Instagram, and she's like, "Hey, I feel like I'm on an island. Like I need to be on a team. I think this, she's like just explaining her situation to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, like tell me more so that I can connect you with the best team leads I know." And so team leaders like to be in my ecosystem because those opportunities happen often where it's like, "Oh, Kristen sent me this person and they were a perfect fit because I was able to match make based on the need."
Absolutely. I think one of the things I always like to pick out a nugget, and I think one of the things you said, which is so important, is the execution. As coaches, I'm a real estate agent full time, but I also coach because I can't help helping people. It's some kind of a disease. But so, you can give them the list of things to do. You can talk to them about all the things they need to do, but then they have to execute. They have to do the blog. They have to do the newsletter. They have to create the content. They have to do the social media. They have to prepare for the open house and do all the pre-marketing. But it's like, okay, here's your list. Now you have to do it. Is there anything you recommend to get the people, the agents to execute?
Oh yeah, I feel like the for me, if I'm gonna have a plan on something that I want to accomplish and I haven't built the muscle yet to make it like where it's just part of my day, it's on my calendar. And I don't know about you guys, but we're busy. Like we're moms, we have businesses. And so if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't happen. If it is in my calendar, it happens. So let's say that you're like, okay, social media 2026, I'm doing this. Well, then let's come up with a cadence of how many stories are you posting a day? How many times are you doing reels every week? How many times are you reaching out to people? And let's put that in your calendar so that maybe you have 2 hours at the beginning of the week where you're creating content. And maybe you have 15 minutes every morning where you're going in and engaging on social media. Like, what is it that we're doing here? And so just making sure that whatever you come up with, go and plug that in on your calendar. And what's really cool is you can put stuff in your calendar as a task if you use Google Calendar, and the minute you're done, it gets crossed off. And I know so many people get just so much gratification through that. And I know I'm one of those. So, and if I have something on a task on my calendar without that cross, I'm going to be thinking about it when I'm sleeping. So I think that that's something like if you're having trouble executing, make sure that you have a plan and put it into something that's going to make you actually execute it. The other thing is get out of your own way because all of a sudden we're like, oh, I don't want to show up on social media. I'm private. Okay, well, you own a business. You have to show up on social media. Okay, so you just got to get over that. And the other part is, I don't like my voice. I don't want to put my face on there. I hate my voice. I hate listening to my videos. However, I don't care anymore because I've been doing it so long. I don't listen to myself. So I record and then I put it out there and I'm like, okay, we're good. Let's move on. And so just stop trying to overcomplicate it. And then also like don't feel like it needs to be this whole production. Like the more authentic you are and the more raw you are, the more traction you're going to get. So just put it out there. It will get better as you go. You just got to start.
I've heard that so many times in the last week with other podcast guests. It's just do it. And even people who are so uncomfortable are now doing really great. So that's very important. So tell me, what is hello culture? I think that's maybe how I found you because I was getting your emails. So tell us what hello culture is.
Yeah, Hello Culture is, I'll tell you how it originated. So I had moved to eXp Realty in 2020 and I did not know what that looked like for me. Again, I'm not in production. I'd always been on more of the agent support side. And so all of a sudden I was at this cloud-based brokerage with people all over the United States and they were doing these things that were way bigger than what I was used to. I was just at an independent local brokerage where transactions was the only conversation. And so all of a sudden, I remember I went to this Tony Robbins EXP event and I was listening to different people and what they were doing. And there was this girl, Chauncey, and she started talking about this community that she built called the Money Badgers Group. And I just remember sitting there and like my light bulb moment went off of like, my thing is community. It's always been community. I just need to like brand it and formalize it and then go out in the market with it and create that. FOMO and like people wanting to be a part of it. Because at the end of the day, everyone always has told me like they want connection and they struggle with that. And so I was like, I could curate the spaces for that. And that could be the way that I grow at EXP. That was the way that I originally thought. So I started a company called Connect and Cultivate, and I used it for agent attraction. And I grew at that brokerage, I grew to 350 agents pretty quickly, and it was great. And I would have my podcast, which is Moms in Real Estate, and I have moms in real estate all over the United States saying, Kristen, I love what you're doing with Connect and Cultivate. I wish there was one in whatever city they were in. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. There's not one in your city. And so it just kept happening. And so one day my friend said, can I just take Connect and Cultivate to Nevada? And I said, okay, what does that look like? And so really what she wanted was a branded community that she could plug into the brand and she could use it for network expansion. So and at that time I had moved my model into more of a membership model for female entrepreneurs, but I basically branded the community to be duplicatable for top female real estate agents who are looking for network expansion. And so that's what we did. We launched, we're in 30 cities now. And it's really like, the same thing as if an agent says, I want to go farm a neighborhood. Okay, well, if you're going to farm a neighborhood, then you've got to have a master plan and you've got to stick to the plan. You've got to show up consistently, all the things. So all I'm doing is giving them a playbook on how they're doing that in a different way. And I coach them twice a month and we have fresh content for them and all these different things. So Hello Culture is a nationwide platform to bring female entrepreneurs together to grow in their connections and to grow in their business. And so it's been really great. It moved from Connect, and I kind of went from Connect and Cultivate to Hello Culture. In the middle of all that, I had to do a major rebrand because of another company that was out there that had a similar name. So, anyways, that's kind of how we ended up with Hello Culture.
That's amazing. So there's all the different groups around the country, and are you speaking on all of them, or the leads of those cities leading it like you would lead in your area?
Yeah, so I run the one in Gilbert, but then each girl who's bought into the chapter, they're leading their chapter. I do a couple things nationwide to where we have like a call every month with everybody and all their members and stuff, but it's very much in their own hands.
That's incredible. I love it. So great. So Moms in Real Estate, how did Moms in Real Estate start? And did you ever imagine it would grow to 40,000 women?
No, Moms in Real Estate started like a decade ago. It was when I was brand new in real estate, and my job was recruiting and retention. And what was happening was I was trained to cold call. So pick up the phone and go down the broker list and read this script. And so I would do that, and I hated it. I was like, this is the worst thing ever. And I had a newborn and a 1 year old at the time, and I was like, I just want to like be around like my type of people, right? And so I came up with this idea where I would have a monthly mastermind called Moms in Real Estate. And the owners of the company I worked for were like, you're thinking way too small. Why don't you do a talk show and you'll be like Ellen of the talk show and you'll interview moms in real estate? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's terrifying. I just like could not wrap my brain around it. And so, anyways, we moved forward and we did that. We did a full talk show for, I want to say at least a year, and it moved into the podcast. And I did it with the owner of the company for years, and she stepped out of it probably like 3 or 4 years ago now. And I rebranded and like I brought in a new partner. And what was cool was the podcast has always been my thing, right? So it's like when I say my thing, like that's what I love doing. The Facebook group where the 40,000 women are, that was always like this other thing that we had. Like we just posted the podcast episodes in there. And when my old partner stepped out, I brought in a new partner who had built Facebook communities. Like that was like her background. And she's like, hey, is there a space for me inside of this community, Moms in Real Estate? Like I could help you for sure. And I was like, yeah, let's talk about it. And she came in and she taught me how to treat the Facebook group like a business and became my business partner in it. And we took that Facebook group. I think we had 2,400 people in the Facebook group just a year and a half ago. And then we literally we grew to 40,000 women inside of that group. I think we're at probably about 41, 42 right now. And it's just such a great community now. And it's because we focused on it as a business where it was just kind of this like byproduct of the podcast for so long. So no, I did not know it was going to end up where it is. And I will tell you the thing that I've done with Moms in Real Estate and why I think the Facebook group grew as fast as it did was yes, we thought about it like a business, but the other aspect and the most simple thing that you'll hear all the time is it's the consistency thing. I showed up every single Thursday. You guys, for 10 years, I've shown up consistently for that podcast. So I planted the seed for so long, showed up and provided value and gave these women a platform and built relationships. And that's why it's grown into what it is today.
Wow, that's incredible. So what does it look like a week look like for you in within the Facebook page? Is it a daily thing? Is it a weekly thing? Is the podcast live? Give us a Actually, we're going to go to commercial break. We'll be right back with that question.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical. Mike Zorek, a three-time California state champion in Greco-Roman wrestling at 114 pounds. Mike, blind since birth, was born in Hartford, Connecticut. He was a six-time national placer, including 2 seconds, 2/3, and 2/4. He also won the Veterans Folk-Style Wrestling twice at 152 pounds. In all these tournaments, he was the only blind competitor. Nancy Zorek, a creative spirit whose talents have taken her to the stage and into galleries and exhibitions in several states. Her father, a commercial artist who shared his instruments with his daughter and helped her fine-tune her natural abilities, influenced her decision to follow in his footsteps. Ms. Zorek has enjoyed a fruitful career doing what she loves. Listen Saturday mornings at 12 Eastern for the Nancy and Mike Show for heartwarming stories and interesting talk.
Welcome back to Mastering the Art of Success. I'm your host, Debbie DiMaggio. We are here with Kristen Cantrell. She's out of Gilbert, Arizona. I love Arizona. We used to have a house there. It's just beautiful. We were talking about your, I think it's Hello Culture. Is that what
Yeah.
it's called? Facebook, Hello Culture. So let's go back to Hello Culture and tell us what a week in the life of you and your team or whoever is managing that Facebook. I mean, a lot of people have Facebook communities, but yours clearly is very effective with 41,000 guests or members. So give us a little insight. How did you grow it, and what is the content, and what is your time live or not live on it?
Yeah. So it's actually Moms in Real Estate is it's not Hello Culture that has the 40,000 members, but what it looks like is I'll talk about my partner in crime, Randy Mendez, and she's a top female real estate agent who runs a nationwide team and um just the yin to my yang. Her value is like totally different than my value. And so how we've structured it is we are not like the main people in the group. We've really decided to partner with the people, right? The people who are the best real estate coaches that have the best CRM systems, the best TC companies, the best virtual assistant companies, and all these amazing women. And we asked them to be our partners in the company and show up and provide value in the group. And so that's been a huge thing for us just to have not only us providing value, but all these amazing women who have these ancillary businesses. And we don't lead with selling to them. We lead with like, we're providing value and building relationships. And if you need this service, it's there. And so we have like a cadence where we do master classes every week. We do a Monday morning show. We do a marketing meetup twice a month. But we had like a consistency of like what does this look like where we're showing up with these live calls and then who's teaching in them, and like we plan all of that out. As far as like the women post all day, every day. And so we have a full-time moderator who goes in and approves every single post. We have a referral network within there. So she's even like, if someone's like, hey, I'm looking for an agent in Gilbert, Arizona, she goes to our referral network and tags the agents that are in Gilbert, Arizona. And then we just engage, like we show up and try to provide value and motivation. And so it's all about education, empowering and educating the women in real estate and providing a non-toxic community, because that's one of the top things I hear. Like, there's no drama in our group. There's no negativity. If there's negativity, I will literally kick someone out of the group. Like, we don't need 40,000 members. We want positive, encouraging people. And so we have a lot of people tell us like this is the most positive Facebook group I've ever been a part of. And so really just keeping the culture to really meet that. And then yeah, we have weekly meetings where, our whole team is our marketing girl, our VA, our girl who runs the client experience. We all do weekly meetings and make sure we're on the same page and just we all know our roles and show up and do them.
Wow, it sounds very, very vibrant. And we have so much in common, how we got started and are accidentally with purpose. But one of the things I speak about all the time is that we're colleagues, real estate agents are colleagues, not competitors. And I believe in collaboration. Clearly, you do as well. And for some reason, new agents come in the business. And I remember someone asking me, that real estate agent friended me on LinkedIn. Should I friend them? I said, absolutely. These are your colleagues. You'll be working together. You might have a listing. They might have a buyer or vice versa. Just as you need clients, you need to collaborate with your agents and your fellow colleagues. So tell us a little bit about that. So elaborate
Love
on that,
the
how you
conversation.
keep collaboration. Yeah.
Yeah, I love this conversation because, for so long I would hear agents that are like, why would I waste my time going to that event? It's just bunch of other agents. Or that's my competitor. Why would I share my blueprint on how to do open houses? Like, it was just this scarcity mindset that everybody lived in. And so it really changed about 5 years ago, where I really started seeing people talk about collaboration over competition and abundance. People would talk about it, but I still didn't see people executing it. And so even when I started Hello Culture, one of our core values is collaboration over competition. Like, truly, if anyone's showing up and has that scarcity mindset, like, I'll have a conversation with them and be like, there are so many people out there. So you can't worry about who your competition is. Like, yes, you should be aware of it. But if you're doing a good job and serving your clients, you're going to be fine. Right. And so, one thing though, in the real estate industry, when people would say like, oh, why would I be around other agents? I mean, you're missing the biggest opportunity, because I'll tell you, when somebody has a ton of offers on a house and your name is one of those offers for your client, and they're like, oh my gosh, I love, whoever, Joe Smith, like, we have a good relationship. I'm probably going to call him and have like a conversation about it. Right. And so it's just like, you're doing your clients a disservice when you don't know anybody in the industry and you're not pouring into them and you're not showing up. Like, if you're doing those things, it will pay off for not only you, but for your clientele for sure. And I've seen that happen time and time again.
Absolutely. I have so many stories just helping others or showing up for them and winning the offer in a multiple offer situation. I can't we can't I'd say we can't talk enough about how important it is.
Well, yeah, and just think about like the jerk in your market who you're like, okay, nobody wants to do a deal with him, right? And so it's like, I hear those conversations all the time. And I'm like, don't be that jerk, you guys, because you're only doing yourself and your clients a disservice.
Absolutely. So you were talking about your core pillars and core values, so collaboration being one of them. What are some of the other core values that you share?
So, another one, sorry, there was a fly. So we believe in creating rooms of inclusion, rooms of grace, being humble, leading with a servant heart is huge for me. I just really believe if you show up and serve, everything else falls into place. And so, um, those are some of our core values. Collaboration over competition is definitely like one of our main ones that we talk about a lot. Like, even in our local community, it's like we don't care if there's 5 agents and 5 insurance agents and 2 hairdressers. Like it's okay if you guys do the same thing. But really like what's working for you right now and like being able to share those things. So that is a huge core value of ours.
So, in your group, in the Facebook group, are there other people other than real estate agents, or are they all real estate agents?
In the Facebook group, it's all real estate agents, and then we have some loan officer partners in there as well, and then we have probably a small handful of like TCs and VAs.
Okay, wonderful. So you are working on, so you're definitely known for building teams. So you're currently working on a new program called She Builds Teams for solo females. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have 2 amazing friends, one that's been in the business about 22 years, one that's been in the business 31 years, and they have both ran super successful real estate businesses on their own, but as well as they've built teams and they've learned all the lessons, where it's like we did this wrong. We built a team like this and it crumbled, and we built this team and it was not profitable. And now they're basically came to me and said like they want to build a framework for these real estate agents that are like, okay, the next thing is building a team for me, but I don't know where to start. And there's a lot of people doing this in the male space where there's a guy that's leading it, but there wasn't one in the female space that we found. And they were like, what if we created this ecosystem to be able to give these women like a framework to go off of and telling them it's not a one size fits all, but here's what worked for us, here's what didn't work for us, and really structure it. And so we came up with She Builds Teams. My role in it, like I don't run a real estate team, I run an organization. I do something completely different. However, I've been around female team leads and helped them build in a different way for so long that I said, what if my value could be more of the community aspect? Because one of the biggest things about coaching programs that I find missing is like we have all the information. You can go YouTube most anything anymore, right? But the ecosystem of while you're in a coaching program it's like the secret sauce, right? So yes, I want the knowledge, but I also want the connections with, for one, the women that are teaching. So we're bringing in a ton of amazing female team leaders to come in and teach. But it's also the community of other women that are building teams that I can pick up the phone and call and be like, I'm stressed out right now. Like my favorite agent, my top performing agent just left my team and I need to vent to somebody right now. Or, hey, I just got this new thing that's out and it's amazing. It's done this for my team. I wanted to call somebody and tell them about it, right? So I wanted to create more of the ecosystem for the community aspect of the team leaders that are now going to start building teams. And so we have She Leads Teams launching January 21st, and it's with Rebecca Green and Aaron Etheridge. So I'm really excited about that because, again, just like I know it's a need. I talk to women in the business all week, every week, and I'm just really excited to bring this to the market and really help some girls.
So how do you I have my team is my family for the most part, and we have some new younger girls in it. But how what I don't really get about teams is you've got the team leads, but are they getting so much business that they're giving it to the other team members in the group, or how does it work? How are you guiding new team leaders to start and groom these younger or newer agents coming?
So it's all so different, right? So sometimes people start a team because of the overflow and they're so busy that they need the help, right? And so there's teams like that where there's other teams that they're actually out of production where they teach their agents how to go out and get business and then maybe they're providing leads. There's so many different structures out there. So in this program, it's not about like, oh, here's the one way to do it. It's more so like opening your eyes to all the different ways and then like diving into more of the systems and the back ends and more of all of that kind of stuff. And then the brokerages and the splits and how to write your contracts and everything on that end. So it's not like it's a one size fits all.
Got it. Got it. So how do you navigate burnout, boundaries, and ambition?
Hmm. Well, I feel like I talk to a lot of women about this that have built some big businesses, and I'm like, I think everybody like that has built a big business is now kind of, at least the women that I'm around are in this phase of like we're like more like trying to work less and like be able to like we're all about leverage, but for so long we were like grinding, right? And so I was like pushing a rock up a hill. And now it's like I got to this point of burnout where it was mentally I was burned out, but also like physically I became like it was contributing to a lot of my health issues. And so I had to slow down when I got burnt out and like really focus on myself and bring in the right people. So the biggest thing that's helped me get out of burnout and be in a much better place now is bringing in the right people. I've got an amazing assistant who oversees everything with all of my businesses. I have a director of client experiences who handles all of our onboarding and all of our vendor programs and everything like that. And then I have a marketing girl and then I have a VA. And so just having like being able to work in my sweet spot and not feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm doing everything has been so, so rewarding. I try to take my kids to school every day. I don't try to, I do take my kids to school every day. And 90% of the time I pick them up at the end of the day. And so I'm trying to work in between those hours. And does it sometimes fall where I'm getting up early and working beforehand? Yes. And sometimes am I working afterwards? Yes. But for the most part, I'm actually working in between those hours. So it was really finding the right people and letting go of thinking I needed to do all the things.
That's very true. We have to get help. What practices keep you grounded as a leader, mom, and entrepreneur?
Um, definitely being in rooms with other leaders, 100%, like making sure I'm making time for that. As a leader, we pour into people a lot, but who's pouring into us? And so those are whole other communities of mine where, you know, we do a retreat once a year where we're literally just working on each other and instead of hosting the retreat and bringing in other people to pour into. So that's um that's definitely something, and then I've worked on my nervous system a lot, so just making sure that I am doing Bikram yoga a couple times a week and, like, red light therapy and, you know, going hiking and just really doing the things that are, like, calming to me and making sure that they're part of my, schedule every week.
Awesome. Well, you're definitely finding, well, you're working hard to find balance. So I can't say you probably do it all the time, but you're working, you're all, you know what you need to do and you're doing it. So what's something people don't see behind the scenes of leadership?
Um, I mean, so much, but probably just like, you know, you share a lot of the wins on social media and you're not seeing the hard parts, like when somebody leaves you. And I do know that's a conversation I have with a lot of my friends is, you know, really, no matter what, it's always hard. And so just really how to deal with that and not taking it personally and or you know all the tons of hours like we we just built something for weeks and I just before this call we found out we're not going to be using that system anymore and now we're going to go try it on another one and you know so it's just like some of that kind of stuff that you don't see. You see the finished product, you're not seeing the behind the scenes and the grind and um you know it's definitely it's hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I call that the pivot and adjust. We're constantly
Yeah,
pivoting and adjusting.
if you want to be an entrepreneur you got to get comfortable pivoting.
Exactly. In my book, I write, you might be going down this path, and all of a sudden there's a fork and you go that way, but at least just keep moving. What advice would you give women who feel isolated in their business or season of life?
Oh, there's a community for you somewhere. I suggest, even though it's so uncomfortable when you first join a community, like I know firsthand, if I go into a new room, even as an extrovert, I'm uncomfortable. But I will tell you, if you can commit to plugging into a community, and when I say plugging in, don't just go and sit in the corner. Go and meet people and then go again and meet people. Like this is a muscle you need to exercise. But if you're like, I'm in and you're also going in with a servant heart, like, how can I help these people? And listen to them and be interested, not interesting. You will find all of a sudden, like, you have this amazing network of people, and it is life changing when you're around the right people.
So I love that. So I'm working with one of our teammates, and she's a young mom, and she's in, so her son's in preschool, and I always have her listen to all the podcasts because all of my guests are so incredible and have so much great information. There's quite a bit of overlap as well. So, what could we say to Nicole, who is a single mom, and I'm telling her that she should get out and meet people. She does not need to talk about real estate, just start building relationships. What kind of groups should she join? Any advice you can give to Nicole?
Yeah, for Nicole, like if you're a single mom, like you probably want to join groups where you're around other people that are going through a similar, like they're similar to you, right? And that doesn't mean they have to be a single mom, but maybe they're moms, right? So, what is something that you feel passionate about when you're going and meeting other people that you can genuinely show up as you are? Don't go and join a group where it's like, single entrepreneurs, whatever, because you're not going to like really relate to them. And then you're going to have to show up and feel like, oh, I can't talk about that because nobody's going to really get it. Right. And so when you're able to show up in a room where it's like, these are my people, that's when you actually are able to like come and feel comfortable being yourself. And that's when you're going to be able to build these deep connections with people.
That's so true because I always say, I don't golf, I don't cook, but that's okay. I like my community service work and the things that I do. But if you do whatever it is you like to do, just be your authentic self and do it. So that's very true. Show up so you're comfortable in where you are.
Yeah.
So, what does success look like for you now compared to when you started?
Um, I'm not money motivated. So success for me isn't like a dollar amount. Success for me is more so like is what I'm building impactful, and is it like helping people? And so I really feel like when I can see and I get text messages or something where it's like, yes, what I'm doing is actually like really, really impactful, and I'm connecting people, and they have friends and all these things. Like that's what success is to me. Doesn't matter how much money I'm making, like that will come. But it's more so like I'm just focused on like, is this the work that I'm supposed to be doing, and is it helping people?
Absolutely. Leading from the heart. I can tell you, lead from the heart. I say when someone says thank you, I just, or they're just so happy. It's like that is success to me. I agree
Yes.
with you. So what would you tell your 20 or 25-year-old self, someone who's, trying to figure out what they want to do in life?
Oh, I feel like one of the biggest like aha moments for me was like, so I'll never forget. I went to this Dave Ramsey Entre Leadership Summit, and I was brought as a guest, and Peyton Manning was there, Sarah Blakely, Jesse Itzler. It was a great event, and I just remember I was there for a couple days, and I took all the notes. And afterwards, I called my dad and I said, I can't believe you wasted your money on college for me. I was like, I just learned more in a couple days at this conference than I ever did in business college. And so I'm gonna encourage you, like, if you're young, like, get into those rooms. Like, no matter if you have to sneak in, I don't care. Like, get into those rooms where you're getting inspired and you're getting ideas and they're talking about business, because they don't teach you a lot of this stuff in school, like at all. And so it's really just like nice to get inspired and then have be around other people that are also learning about this and make friends with them. And so really, if I could go back to like my younger self, get in those rooms sooner. Like my kids, the minute that they turn 15, they're coming with me. I made that decision before I even had kids. And so that's what I would tell my younger self is don't go to college. And I'm not saying everyone don't go to college. There is a space for people that need to go and get their degree in certain things. But if you're like me and you're like, I'm just going to check the box and say I went to college and I don't know what I want to do, don't do it. It's a waste of money.
Right. I so agree with you about I mean, and you could, yes, go to college, but also while you're doing that, go to these workshops and seminars. There are so many. I mean, with Instagram, there's a seminar for everything. It's a webinar now because of COVID, or, a Zoom, or even a podcast. There's so much learning out there. It's just incredible. I watch YouTube and not, I don't watch TV anymore, and I won't watch the news, but I just on YouTube, there's just so many experts out there. It's right there. And those are the people who will inspire you and light that spark for you. So I love it. Okay. Rapid fire questions. Coffee or matcha?
Coffee,
Early mornings or late nights?
early mornings,
Mountains or beach?
Oof. Mountain.
Podcast you never miss.
This one. Now, I would say that as much as like I just randomly listen to podcasts, the one I listen to consistently is Mel Robbins.
Oh, okay. Great.
Yeah,
One word that defines your leadership style.
authentic.
Biggest lesson motherhood taught you in business.
Balance is bullshit.
Go to self-care, go to self-care non-negotiable.
Working out.
What do you do for working out?
I lift 4 days a week and I do Bikram yoga 2 days a week.
Oh, good for you. Take note. Favorite way to build connection, DMs, events, or voice notes?
Definitely the first two. Voice notes are like only if I know you.
Yeah, there's too many things. Book that changed your mindset.
I'll go back to Mel Robbins because I will never forget, last year when I read the Let Them theory, my my thought when I read it was like, gosh, where was this when I was like a teenager?
Right.
I really think that it was just like I had wished, and even when I got to the chapter about addicts, like my dad is a really bad alcoholic, and I'm like, if I would have just read this and then knew how to approach that, it would have been so helpful for me. So it changed my mindset on in so many different aspects of my life.
Yeah, that was a good one. What thing you've stopped doing that changed everything?
I stopped just going. I'll say this one with my health is I stopped just going to somebody because they were the expert and put all of like my eggs in their basket. Like I was like, okay, know that you are your own advocate. So stop just relying on other people, and really take things into your own hands when it comes to your health.
That is so true. Heed her advice. Best advice you've ever received.
Best advice would be, I mean, I stick to this one of the, I don't know if it's the best, but it was a really good one. It was everything big starts small. And every time I'm struggling when I'm building something, I go back to that. Like, don't forget that is everything big starts small. And the other one, I'll say one more is embrace the suck. And you've got to just understand it's part of the process and really knowing that. And so when you're building something and you are going to have those sucky moments, specifically to building community, like you're going to throw an event and no one's going to show up. It's the
Right.
people that have the grit that go to the next event and they throw the next one, even though no one showed up to the last one because they know that's part of the process. Like, duh, we did that. Now we're going to go to the next one and hopefully 2 people show up and then the next one and 5 and the next one and 10. And it will grow because again, everything big starts small, but you have to know that if it starts small, that's not always fun.
That is such good advice. I love it. So, Kristen, how do people get a hold of you?
I love Instagram. That's definitely like where you could get a hold of me. If you follow me and my handle is at Hey Kristen Cantrell and shoot me a message.
Awesome. Well, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. I look forward to continuing the conversation.
Yes, I've loved getting to know you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Tune in each week for another episode of Mastering the Art of Success with host Debbie DiMaggio. Thursdays, 2 p.m. Eastern. Real stories, real strategies, real success.